Hey everyone, it's a beautiful August day in 2023 in the UK, and this guy's let me out, thank you. And I'm going to tell you about the latest legislations that are coming in for the car driving licence in September 2024. Now, there is a bit of common sense in here, because what the government and the DVLA are doing is aligning the driving licence process for cars in line with motorcycles that are currently employed in the UK. So I'm here to tell you about what's going to happen and how this impacts you. And we'll start off at the age of 16 for a car driving licence, going through to the age of 24, and the process of achieving your licence so that you can drive any unlimited vehicle. So, as with motorcycles, you have to go through the age and the process of time to be able to ride a more powerful machine, which is absolutely correct. And as part of that process, you have to take various tests along that journey. And they're exactly the same tests. It's just that you have to keep on taking your test until you move up to the higher category of power. And this is what's going to be employed with the car licenses in September 2024. So let's have a look and see what's happening. So what's going to happen is in 2024, if you are of the age of 16, and not many people know this, and it's currently 2023 of course, but today you are allowed at 16 years of age to have a car driving licence. But you have to meet certain governmental criteria to have a driving licence at the age of 16. Not many people know this, but you can have a driving licence at the age of 16. It's not 17, but for most people it is 17. So to get your driving licence at 16, it's going to be the same process where you have lessons and then you take a test. And then you take a test. Sorry, I'm being distracted while I'm driving. And then you take a test, and then you're able to drive a car at the age of 16. The legislations in September 2024 do not affect those people that take the test at 16. Other than passing through the age where they do not need to resit their tests, other than other people. The majority of people. So that's the 16-year-olds dealt with. So when you get to the age of 17, you will be able to drive a car that has no more than 70 horsepower. And you will have to take your driving test in a car of no more than 70 horsepower. So you'll have to do your theory, you'll have to have driving lessons, and then you will have to take a test. And assuming that you take that test and pass, you will then able to drive vehicles up to, did I say 80 horsepower, 60 horsepower? Let's say 60 horsepower. Yeah? So that's like a Toyota Aygo or something like that. You are then able to drive on the motorway, carry passengers, etc, etc, etc. To go any further from a power perspective, you will, from the age of 17, you will have to take a further test at 19 years of age, which will allow you to drive a 110 horsepower vehicle. So, let's just recap on that. So, at the age of 17, you can then take your test, but you are limited to a certain horsepower of, I think it's 60 horsepower, a small car. You can then continue to drive a small car for the rest of your life. You don't have to resit a test. But if you do want to drive a more powerful vehicle, then you will have to sit a further test in a more powerful vehicle when you get to the age of 19. At the age of 19, you can then take your test, of which you'll need driving lessons again. You won't have to do your theory, but you will need lessons again in a more powerful car. 100 horsepower, 110 horsepower. So that's like a Hyundai i30. Yeah. And then you will have to have more driving lessons, and you will have to sit a practical test again. It's exactly the same test as you took when you were 17, but you're going to have to take another test. Yeah? Is that okay? Do we understand that? And then that allows you at 19 to drive a 110 horsepower vehicle. When you get to 21, you are able to then take an unrestricted power license. So therefore you will have to take more lessons, and you will have to do exactly the same test as what you did at 19 and 17. You'll have to do exactly the same test. Yeah? And then at 21, you'll be able to drive a car of unrestricted power. So if you're rich enough, then daddy or mommy can then go and fund your Lamborghini. Yeah? Alternatively, just like the motorcycle license, you can defer everything until you're 21 and it's 24, isn't it? So you can defer everything, so you don't bother taking your car license till you're 24 years of age, and then you take your test with no experience, and because you're 24, you should be a bit smarter and a bit more intelligent. You can then take your test, which is called the direct access for a car, which allows you to drive any vehicle from a power perspective that you may wish. Any vehicle that's a car, not a motorcycle. Yeah. So this is coming into play in September 2024. This is going to be a great time where you're going to have to spend lots and lots of money in upgrading your license from the age of 17 and taking multiple tests which cost a fortune and which are not available today because the demand for tests is phenomenal at the moment. There's such a backlog that it's incredible. Now moving forward, this backlog will only get bigger and bigger on the understanding that instead of taking one test and allowing you to drive anything, you're going to take potentially three tests. So this is going to cost you an absolute fortune. But that said, it's exactly the same for motorcyclists. It's exactly the same for motorcyclists. So what they're doing is they're just bringing it into line with the motorcycles, which is fair, which truly is fair. So that's going to be interesting for 2024, September 2024. So you're going to have to go through a major process of taking test upon test upon test and paying out money on money on money for the same test. Yeah? You're having the same test. It's no different. You've still got to do 30 mile an hour in a 30 mile an hour zone, which is correct. Yeah? It's just that you may have, a bit more horsepower under the bonnet. Yeah, and regardless of your experience of 2 years driving prior, because of your previous tests, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. That's why you need to take another test. Fortunately, the cost for your theory exam, which I think is about £25, so it's not too much, you don't have to keep on doing the theory. So that's a good thing. I just thought I'd let you know about this, and I'd love to know what your thoughts are. September 2024, this new legislation comes in, aligning the car license and the way you achieve a car license in line with motorcycles. Let me know your opinion. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and turn notifications on. There's lots more videos coming in the very near future. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.